Hell yeah, welcome to the show. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Johnny North is right here with me. We are live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We have a big show for you here tonight. We will talk about everything that just went down on WWE Smackdown, including Ruby Riott joining the Raw or the Smackdown women's team. And the Smackdown men's team getting another member. The Raw men's team. Survivor Series is just 2 weeks away. We're also going to preview AEW Full Gear. I'm hyped. You can tell Johnny North is hyped. John, are you okay? Are you frozen? Are you all right? How you doing?
I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You just weren't moving.
Okay,
I thought you might have been frozen.
Well, I'm not hyped for Full Gear. I mean,
what?
I hope it's a good pay-per-view, but I'm very skeptical on this one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very skeptical.
Brother, you can tell I'm excited.
It could be good.
I got the gold, sucker. All right. You see my belt? I got the new AEW belt. Look at that. Look at that thing. Got the toy belt. Add to the toy belt collection. My son and I have a massive toy belt collection. Got the AEW belt ready for Full Gear. I'm hyped for Full Gear. We've got Kenneth Omega taking on Hangman Page. We've got the Young Buckaroos taking on FTR. Come on, man. These are the big matches. These are the matches years in the making, and I'm pretty hyped for it. I'm pretty hyped for AEW Full Gear. You know me, I've been a little bit down on pro wrestling these days, but AEW has done this thing right. As far as their pay-per-views, in 2020, I don't know if I've been more excited for an AEW pay-per-view than Full Gear. Looking at Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, like, come on. That's massive. I'm finally getting the Kenny Omega I want. I feel like this match has been in the making since AEW began. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about AEW Full Gear, but I know people just watched WWE Smackdown. So we're going to talk about what just happened on SmackDown. I want your thoughts. Not just my thoughts, not just Big Johnny's thoughts, but your thoughts as well. The Wrestling Uncensored universe. Hit us up on that super chat. If you got any kind of questions, we will answer them pronto, right away on the super chat. We might answer your questions if you don't super chat us, but we might. Keyword is might. I'll answer your question on the chat. I'm seeing a lot of people are on the chat. I can't answer everybody's questions because then it'll just be a question and answer show. But if you super chat, then I will definitely answer your question because you're paying money. So, like, I got respect, you know? But I will definitely try and answer as many questions as possible. I know my man Alex Terrace asked me a question. Or was it Max Power? Yeah, Max Power. And I think Max Power might be the same guy as Alex Terrace. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But he had a question for me.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he had a question for me on Twitter about Seth and Roman Reigns having the same storyline on SmackDown, which I didn't really understand. But if you have questions for me, you could send them at Dave Simon MMA. I take questions there. I put out a poll earlier today on Twitter about what should be the main event for Full Gear. We'll talk about that a little bit later on when we preview Full Gear. Give a shout-out to Lauren Cronish, always on the chat, always watching. We appreciate you, Lauren. Franco316, my man. Alex Tarras, saying Dave is the greatest of all time. I agree with that. Paul M. says, good evening. Good evening, Paul M. Lee J. Robinson. Shout-out to Lee J. What's up, Kings? Rob Clue says, bonsoir, turkeys. I don't know if he's talking about us. Maybe we're turkeys. I don't know. Bob Cote. Shout-out to Bob. Shout out to Dylan H. Patrick C. Hamilton on the chat as well. I'm seeing everybody on the chat. I'm excited to see the Wrestling Uncensored universe strong here on a Friday night. This is our second Friday night live in a row, and everybody's checking in. I see TK. Lauren Cronish says Johnny is the greatest, which, yeah, that's all right. I agree with that, too. Johnny and I are both the greatest. We are both fantastic dudes. All right? Johnny may be more fantastic. I don't know. Rob Clues dropping a super chat with just a thumbs up emoji, which I appreciate. I like that little emoji you dropped, Rob. And I like you supporting the channel as well. Thank you. So thank you to the team, everybody watching. We appreciate you. Dylan H. wants us to talk about the Roman Reigns storyline. You want to start there? We can start there. We're going to talk about SmackDown. Let's go with the main event, the main deal. Roman Reigns, the big dog, the captain of the industry, the tribal chief. The leader of the family. He was on SmackDown. He didn't wrestle tonight. He spoke. He influenced his cousin Jey Uso. So Jey Uso begins his night backstage and like catering with Kevin Owens. Kevin's like, "Oh, you're getting Roman's coffee for him now?" Ha ha ha, like trying to joke around with him. And Jay's like, "What, you think my family's a joke?" What's that? What you say?
Kind of mean what Kevin did. Like, you say it's a joke, but it's like, that's kind of a personal shot almost.
That's a dick move.
Saying that you're a bitch. Yeah, he's saying like he's a bitch, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rough to say.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
It's asking for a fight.
Yeah. So, Kevin Owens was maybe a little bit rude to Jey Uso. Jey took exception. And he's like, "You think my family's a joke, dog?" And Kevin's like, "Yo, I just want to be cool. We're partners at Survivor Series, man. I was just kidding around. Take it easy." Jey Uso's like, "Arr." And then Jey Uso is about to do an interview with Kayla. Hey, Kayla. And Paul Heyman shows up, and he's like, "Did you clear this interview by Roman Reigns?" He's like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're not allowed to do interviews unless Roman gives you express written permission." So Jey Uso's like, "Okay. I guess this interview's over." So Jey goes backstage to Paul Heyman to Roman's dressing room deal. And Jay's like, "Well, I want to talk to Roman about this. About me not being able to do interviews. I'm not allowed to speak now? What's the deal?" And Heyman's like, "Look, I'll go see if Roman is ready to speak to you, and if he is, he'll come out." So Roman comes out, and he's like, "Why are you trying to tell your story, Jey Uso? What's your problem? Why are you trying to talk to people? If you want to do something like that, like a promo, you have to ask me. And if I'm not around, you can ask Paul Heyman. That's the pecking order around here." And Roman says, "By the way, I heard Kevin Owens was disrespecting you, which means he was disrespecting me, which means he was disrespecting our bloodline, which means you have to do something about it." And then he asks Paul Heyman, and then Jay's like, "Okay, I'll go do something about it." And then he's like, "Hey, Paul Heyman, did you know about this?" And Heyman's like, "Well, sir, I don't know." And then Roman's like, "Well, you're supposed to handle these things for me when I'm not around. You're supposed to pay attention, Paul Heyman." And Roman tells him, "Go find Adam Pearce, who's in charge of all the shows for some reason. We're going to settle this Kevin Owens thing tonight." So then Jey Uso and Kevin Owens have a match in the main event of SmackDown. It was all right. It's better than Jey Uso's matches with Roman, that's for sure. Jey winds up beating Kevin after a top rope splash and a headbutt to the balls. So Roman Reigns' music hits during the match. The referee is distracted by the music, and I guess Paul Heyman. The referee started yelling at Heyman like, "What's going on here? Why is this music playing?" Which allowed Jey Uso to headbutt Kevin Owens in the balls, which allowed for him to climb to the top rope when Kevin was down, hit a splash, and win the match. Roman Reigns showed up after the match and stood there with Jey Uso, like, happy with what he has done. So Jey Uso has, like, fully turned. Last week was the turn. He attacked Daniel Bryan. He beat up Daniel Bryan. And now he's, like, Roman's soldier because he recognizes that Roman is the true leader of the family. And he better fall in line because future generations depend on Roman Reigns being the top guy. Fine. I dig that story. It makes sense. The story's fine. The matches with Roman and Jey have not been great, but I'm glad that we're over that at least, and we can move on with Roman and, Randy Orton and Survivor Series, but, Roman and maybe Kevin Owens, Roman and probably Daniel Bryan. The matches will be better for Roman. So, on that front, I don't fully hate it. Roman Reigns being just evil Roman, I get, I like. His in-ring performances over the past couple pay-per-views have been less than expected, really. I expected more from Roman and Jey Uso, and what they delivered was really disappointing. So, hopefully Roman Reigns' title run is a little bit better going forward. I like the promos. I like the story. Jey Uso finally figuring out, like, look, I can't beat him. I might as well join him because Roman really, if Roman can stay on top as a WWE champion or Universal champion or whatever he is, right?
Well, he's a champion.
Right? Jey Uso as his cousin, he's like, all right, look, I may not be the champion, but if I can hold the fort for Roman, if I can be one of his soldiers and I can make sure that Roman has a nice long run on top, then I can ensure that my children and their children can have nice runs on top and have nice positions in the WWE. If your dad was a long-reigning WWE champion, you have a much better shot at making the WWE roster than if your dad was, a mid-level guy, a job guy who was kind of in and out, right? And that's a real thing, and that's a storyline thing that they're working in. I like it. What do you think, John?
Well, I just like that they're building up Jey Uso to be a credible threat in the main event scene because it was kind of hard to believe that going against Roman Reigns. It's just that it feels like that should have happened before that big match with Roman Reigns, both big matches. Like, he gets these big wins over Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens, and it's like, well, what are you going to use that for exactly? Because he's not going to have that big match with Roman anymore. So, like, it's great for Jey to be, like, on Team Smackdown for this, but then going forward, what does that really do for him? Like, is he really going to be a main event player going forward in SmackDown? I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this leads to Jey Uso just being part of Roman's faction, maybe having a match with Jimmy Uso when Jimmy comes back. Like, Jimmy's like, how dare you, Jey? How could you do this? Joining the dark side, the mean Roman. And then Jimmy has a match with Jey, and then Jey beats him up, and Roman helps him, and then Jimmy joins, and then it's like just evil Usos. That's what I see as the end game with Jey Uso. This singles run is just to use him while his brother's hurt. I believe that by the end of this thing, when Jimmy Uso comes back, he'll either fall in line and just recognize Roman as tribal chief and not even try to fight it, or he'll try to fight it, get beat, and then fall in line. I just see the Usos as part of Roman's overall team, just kind of heel guys to help Roman cheat to win and remain champion for a very long time. That's what I see them as, and that's what I see the goal as, not as Jey Uso being a legit main event player. He's just being used in this role right now to kind of solidify Roman and while waiting for Jimmy. Right?
Well, in the meantime, he's like the strongest member on Team SmackDown. And the way it looks like going forward, like, it seems like he could beat anybody on Team Raw, it seems.
Possibly, if the referee's distracted and he can headbutt them in the balls, right?
Well, if you look at it, this whole, like, Team Raw, Team SmackDown, it's the same storyline on both shows. Like, both teams can't get along, and they both fight with each other. And it's to see who can, like, come together. That's the team that's probably going to win at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, doing it better on Raw, though, because AJ Styles, really. my opinion.
Raw was better this week again.
Raw was not too bad. I think Raw may have been better than SmackDown this week. Maybe the brand, the draft made Raw a better show because Raw was not terrible this week. We'll get to Raw. I want to give a shout out to Patrick C. Hamilton dropping the super chat. Thank you, Patrick, with the keep it up emoji. I like it. Dylan H. saying Roman versus Rock for Tribal Chief at Mania. Possible. Definitely possible. It feels like they were building Big E for something major. Maybe Roman at Mania if they can't get Dwayne. I would say Dwayne is plan A and Big E would probably be plan B. Maybe Big E wins the Rumble and faces Roman. Possibly. Still a ways away. A lot of things could change, right? A lot of things could be in the plans for WrestleMania in November, but by March, things will be very different. So, hard to tell right now. I don't think they really know. They definitely have a rough outline of what they want to do. I'm sure the Dwayne match has been talked about because it does seem kind of automatic. Roman Reigns saying he's head of the family, when we all know that Dwayne is really the big head of the family. He's the big chief. So, if Roman is a tribal chief, The Rock would be high chief, right? Like his grandfather, the high chief Peter Maivia. Rock could come in and be like, yeah, you're tribal chief, but I'm the high chief. Pecking order. Levels to this chief game. So that could work, and I would love to see that storyline-wise. Match-wise, I think Big E would deliver a better match. I think Roman and Rock at Mania, especially without a crowd. Like, if they have a crowd, maybe, they could capture some Hogan-Rock magic, do something there, maybe. But without a crowd, forget it. Don't do it. It'll be so bad. With a crowd, maybe. Even then, with a crowd, it'll probably be bad, but people will eat it up.
Well, I think it's going to have a crowd because in Florida they can have crowds, so they're going to make sure WrestleMania they're going to have a crowd for sure. I wouldn't be
can they
too
though?
surprised
Because
by that.
AEW felt like they were having crowds, and now they don't have crowds anymore.
Well, they're going to have 1,000 people tomorrow night, so
really,
it's going to be pretty good. Yeah,
wow.
Tony Khan confirmed that.
Young Bucks killing the business and their fans. I'm kidding.
Well, really not their
I'm
fault.
joking. I'm joking. They'll be fine.
Wasn't a great match this week, but definitely not their fault, the whole pandemic.
Yeah, no, definitely not their fault. I can't blame the pandemic on the Young Bucks as much as Jim Cornette might want to, right?
Oh, I'm sure he already has.
Yeah, I'm sure he definitely has. Kenny Omega's the reason why there's a pandemic, God damn it. Yeah. So, what else happened on SmackDown tonight? The Mysterio family? You want to talk about them? That was the other big story, I guess.
Oh, the low point of the show.
I mean, it was Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and the Mysterio family. Like, what else did they do on SmackDown tonight?
Well, half an hour of Sasha and Bayley.
Oh, yeah. It was a good match. Sasha retained. I thought it was good.
I thought it was all right. Just some spots seemed a little too choreographed, but, I mean, besides that, it was fine.
Yeah. It's all right. The one move there where Sasha got, like, lifted and then dropped down on the apron, outside the ring. It was, like, almost a flapjack. Not quite a flapjack. What was that? That was awesome.
Well, that was her just getting pushed up in the air and just, like, yeah. It was almost like a flapjack, but not quite. It was something different. But, again, that was too choreographed because they were too slow with that. It just seemed like they were trying to really do that like ahead of time, and it just got messed up. And it seemed like Sasha was supposed to hit her head, I think, on the post, but she just like hit her hand pretty much, and then try to make up for it with using the ring apron. So it just seemed like it was a little out of place, that move, and the way Bayley set it up too. It just seemed very, very awkward.
It was a rough looking move though. Like, it was a cool little maneuver. I don't know. I like
Sasha saved it, I think, with the bump at the end.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the intention though. What they were trying to pull off.
I was watching the match with my son, who's 3, and when Carmella came out and attacked Sasha, he's like, "Why is Mandy Rose doing that?" which I thought was really
thought
funny.
Charlotte Flair actually, but okay.
I thought
I
really
thought
funny.
Charlotte Flair actually, but okay.
I don't know. He's like, it kind of looked like Mandy Rose. He thought it was Mandy Rose. It was Carmella, who's doing the Mandy Rose gimmick, you know? The old
Right.
Mandy gimmick, the old Lana gimmick. Carmella's just doing it. She's sexy and mean. It's the mean, sexy gimmick that Carmella's doing. And now, after seeing a Sasha Bailey feud, we're going to watch Sasha and Carmella, I guess. Maybe Survivor Series?
No, because
No?
it's already been set. It's best of the best.
Oh,
it's gonna
right.
Be...
Sasha and Asuka. Oh, that's good, actually.
That's right.
That's much better than Carmella. All right. Take it back. Did anybody qualify? Yeah. So Ruby Riott beat Natalya and Zelina Vega to qualify for the Women's SmackDown Survivor Series team. That was a weird finish. Natty put Zelina in a sharpshooter, and then Ruby Riott put Zelina in some sort of crossface, and then Natty seemed to just let go of the sharpshooter for no reason, and then Zelina tapped, giving Ruby the win. Like, what happened there? Did I miss something?
You missed nothing. For whatever reason, Natty thought she'd already won the match and didn't realize.
But the
that,
bell didn't ring. The ref
was...
didn't do anything.
The bell
it was
didn't
weird.
ring. I know the ref didn't do anything. Natty just looked stupid in the end off that. But
yeah.
Oh well.
Okay. And they keep doing these triple threat qualifying matches for Survivor Series on SmackDown. Now, they're going to have to do a last chance triple threat at the end of this because they're running out of women on the roster. You know what I mean? Like this week, like Zelina and Natty lost a qualifier, so that eliminates them from qualifying matches and from being on the team. And SmackDown only has, well, I mean, it doesn't, but it should, right? If you lose a qualifying match, you should not be allowed on the team, but they're going to get another shot because SmackDown has 2 members of their team qualified so far, Bianca Belair and now Ruby Riott. They need 3 more members, and there's not that many women on SmackDown to choose from, so maybe Carmella, maybe Bayley, right? Because Bayley just lost a title match, so she needs something to do. Carmella hasn't been in one of those matches yet, so maybe Carmella and Bayley are 2 more members. But then, I don't know, who's left?
Well, Natty was in 2 qualifying matches already, so I think they're going to throw Natty in all these qualifying matches. Yet she'll never qualify.
Oh,
no, I don't think she'll ever win, though.
Yeah.
Which is going to be kind of sad.
Yeah. Classic Natty.
But it's kind of easy. I mean, Bayley, you got Liv Morgan, and Zelina, they give her another shot too. Billy Kay had a segment right this week. I mean, we can give her another shot. There's other women. Tamina.
Yeah, sure. Always pull out Tamina when you're running out of names.
Yep.
Isn't it strange that the Raw team was just announced, except for Lana, who had to qualify, and every member of the SmackDown team so far is having to qualify in triple threat matches? And they've only announced 2 of them so far, and they've last week they announced 1, this week they announced another. There's 3 more members to add to this team. There's only 2 more SmackDowns before Survivor Series, and Raw has their whole team set up. It's just weird. And if this were a shoot, like if this were real, you're putting SmackDown at a tremendous disadvantage because everybody has to wrestle a tough match to get on the team, where all the women on Raw were just given spots except for Lana. You know what I mean? Like, if this were real, it'd be like,
right.
Well, SmackDown's kind of getting screwed here, no?
Well, Adam Pearce is a terrible GM. He just let the Raw women do whatever they want, and he makes the SmackDown women work for it. He's a bad GM.
Pearce is clearly siding with Raw. He clearly favors Raw over SmackDown. That's what I take from it. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But who cares? I mean, really, who cares? It's the Women's Survivor Series match. I don't think they care, so why should we care? Like, again, we're thinking about this more than they are, so why care about who's on this stupid team? The match is not set. It's Nia, Shayna, Mandy, Dana, and Lana from Raw taking on Bianca, Ruby, and 3 more people from SmackDown. So I guess we'll have to wait till next week to find out who else is on Team SmackDown. Baron Corbin, King Corbin, qualified for Team SmackDown men's side, and so did Seth Rollins on SmackDown tonight. King Corbin and Seth Rollins kind of involved in the same thing. It's all about Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio and Aaliyah. Like
a big storyline.
Yeah, big storyline. Like most of SmackDown. So, King Corbin attacks Rey Mysterio backstage. Rey's like backstage on the phone trying to get a hold of Aaliyah. He can't reach Aaliyah. Dominic shows up. He's like, your match is next. You're not dressed. And Rey's like, okay, go get my gear. Where's Aaliyah? And he's like, I don't know, but your match is next. And he's like, all right. And then King Corbin shows up and he just like beats up Rey backstage, which you're allowed to do before a match because who cares? King Corbin What?
I think it's because Rey hasn't been training that much, and he didn't want to show that he has been training, so that's why he was wearing a shirt, and they needed an excuse why he's wearing a shirt. That's my take on that.
That's why he wrestled in street clothes, because he wasn't in shape?
Yep.
He was wearing the Bread Yeezy 350 V2s to wrestle in. I was actually looking at those shoes. They're re-releasing next month. And I was just asking my son, which shoes do you want? Do you want these, the Breads, or the Zebras? And he chose the Breads. And then we saw Rey wrestling in them tonight. I was like, yo, look at those shoes. Rey's wrestling in the very shoes that I'm about to buy you next month when they re-release. The 350 V2 Yeezy Breads with the red lettering, the all black with the red, Sply 350. You know what I'm talking about. You saw Rey's shoes. They were nice.
Wasn't Dominic wears the same stuff too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't wearing Yeezys tonight. I think he was wearing... They look like Air Force Ones. I couldn't quite tell what Dominic was wearing. It was white. The lights couldn't give him definition. But, I liked Rey's shoes. The Bread Yeezys. Very nice. So I didn't mind that he was wrestling in street clothes. Anyways, King Corbin beat Rey via pinfall after the end of days to qualify for Money in the Bank. Dominic was ringside. Seth Rollins shows up during the match. He watches for a while, attacks Dominic. Rey makes the save, punches Seth, and then Aaliyah and Murphy come to the ring together, and they just stand there during the melee. Rey's like, get out of here. Rey turns around, goes in the ring, gets hit with the end of days, loses the match. Whatever. Match was whatever. King Corbin is... Like, the only reason I sat through this match was because Rey Mysterio was in it. But King Corbin, like, come on. Enough of this guy. Like, if I don't need to ever see him wrestle again. You know, I wouldn't miss him. And then Seth Rollins later on wrestles Otis. Poor Otis. Otis and Tucky getting totally jobbed out, by the way. Tucky turns on Otis and then loses to Ricochet in like 30 seconds on Raw this week. He's got new gear, looks worse than ever. He's probably the biggest jobber in WWE right now. I don't know, man. So Seth Rollins beats Otis after the stomp and a distraction from Murphy. Murphy's back with Seth. Murphy comes down He comes down during the match. Gets on the apron, distracts Otis. Otis charges at Murphy. Murphy jumps off the apron, which allows Seth to hit a super kick and the stomp on Otis for the win. Seth qualifies for Survivor Series. Rey and Dominic were watching the match backstage on a TV. They looked upset. Aaliyah looked upset as well. And then Seth goes up to Murphy backstage after the match, and he's like, are we back together? Is everything good? And Murphy's like, yeah. I'm the disciple. You're the Messiah. I'm back, baby. And Seth is like, yeah, you saw the light. This is awesome. Walks away. Aaliyah shows up. She's super mad. Murphy's like, look, you got to trust me. This is for the greater good. It's not clear if Murphy is doing this to get on Seth's good side so he could eventually beat him up, or Murphy is just trying to get Aaliyah to believe in Seth as the Messiah. I feel like it's the latter. I feel like Murphy's like, yeah, Aaliyah, I'm a heel. You got to accept me for who I am. I love Seth Rollins. I think he's some sort of Jesus character. You need to believe in him. I know your father's super religious, and you probably are too, but Seth is our new Lord and Savior. I think that's the story. It's either, Murphy's just going incognito. He's undercover with Seth just to get Seth for some reason. Or he's pretending he's a good guy to the Mysterio family while really just being with Seth the whole time. I think he's just with Seth the whole time.
Well, I find it's really hard to judge which way it's going because they act all very robotic in the way they take everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Murphy getting told that Alea loves him. Like it felt like he didn't really care. Just like, oh, okay, that happened. It just there's no true emotion. It just they say words, they raise their voice, but you can see it in their face. It seems like they don't really care.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get invested in this and to believe anything they say because it feels like it can go completely the other way because they don't believe what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to tell what's going on. And they've spent so much time on this. It hasn't been good ever. I can't remember a time where I've been like, yeah, I need to see more of this. The Dominic Mysterio matches, the Aaliyah acting, and now the Aaliyah love angle with Murphy, and now Murphy, is he with Seth, is he not, the whole thing. I don't care. They don't seem to care. Does anybody care?
Well, at least we're not getting Dominic wrestling that much. That seems to have stopped, so that's an improvement.
Again, WWE has made Rey Mysterio a guy I don't want to see. And that's horrible, I love Rey Mysterio. He's one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live. And now every time I see him on TV, I'm disinterested because I know whatever's happening is terrible. I'm going to have to listen to his daughter talk, or son act, or wrestle, or Seth Rollins and Murphy is going to be involved, and it's just the same thing over and over and over. And I just want to watch Rey Mysterio, and instead, I'm getting this, we never really got a good match with Seth and Rey because it was just around the eye and trying to poke Rey's eye out, so they couldn't really wrestle a really solid wrestling match because they had that stupid gimmick. Rey hasn't had any really good matches when's the last time Rey had a really good match? They don't put him in positions to have good matches. They do stupid stipulations, or they have him wrestle King Corbin with all sorts of distractions, too. It's no good. Dominic's featured in more high-profile matches than Rey is, and Dominic is not a wrestler. Not yet, anyways. I don't want to see a guy's first match in the business on TV. He did good for his first match. So? Who wants to see that? It's supposed to be the major leagues. It's not amateur hour. I don't want to see your trainees learning how to wrestle on TV. I mean, to be honest, Dominic's probably about as good as Corbin is, but still, I don't want to see either of them. Terrible. So, really disappointed with everything with Rey Mysterio right now. It doesn't seem like it's ending at any point. I wish Becky would just have the kid so Seth could go away for a while. That is my hope. That Becky has her child, and Seth, as the father, takes a lengthy paternity leave. So perhaps we could be rid of this whole Mysterio angle once and for all. That's my hope.
I hope you're right, because this has been going on since May, and I feel like they're going to drag this all the way to WrestleMania at the rate this is going, because this just never seems to end.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it will ever end. Rob Cluse dropping a super chat. We appreciate you, Rob. He says he feels bad for Lana. Also wants to know when we are sneaking AJ on the show. On this show? I would say never. AJ DeLesio from Ringside Report? Why would we have him on Wrestling Uncensored? He barely understands that wrestling is a work.
You mentioned it because I think he was on the chat last week, right? And
Hmm.
you said to AJ like, "Hey, if you watch the show, we'll put you on this show."
Right. I did say that. I say a lot of regrettable things, John. I don't know. I don't mean.
People remember though.
Yeah,
That's it.
okay.
They throw
Well,
it back at
fine.
you.
Fine. AJ can come on the show whenever he wants. How about that? For like a minute, and then we'll get rid of him, because really. I want to see AJ on this show about as much as I want to see Lars Sullivan on SmackDown. Not too much. I love AJ. No, I'd rather see AJ on this show than ever see Lars Sullivan again. I don't want to watch Lars Sullivan do anything. I don't want to see him wrestle. I don't want to see him be interviewed by Michael Cole while topless. Lars was topless, not Michael Cole. It was weird. Like, why was he shirtless during that interview? He's interviewed backstage. It's like a formal interview. He's wearing pants. Michael Cole is wearing a suit. This guy's not wearing a shirt. It's not one of your pornos here. It's not one of your pornos here, Lars. Michael Cole's not gonna suck you off, you know?
You think one way too quickly. I mean, they're just trying to sell the fact that he's intimidating, and like that's kind of his whole thing now is that he was bullied, and now he's a bully, and now this is the way he bullies people, and he screams and he yells and he flexes, and that's how he gets his way. So it kind of sold that by being shirtless.
Okay. If you say so, John, I don't buy it.
Did it not make the promo more awkward because he was shirtless? I felt like it did, and that's the whole point of this, is to make it feel very awkward when he talks.
Okay. I mean, it just seems dumb. It just seems like a bad promo. I guess it's awkward, but it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. Just like I don't want to see this guy, and I'm like, wow, it's kind of laughably bad. I'm more laughing at this guy than anything. I hate bullies. I've been bullied my whole life for the way I look and the way I talk or the way I dress. I put 50 pounds of muscle on over 18 months, and then I became the bully. And I made kids eat dirt and whatever I wanted. When he said I made kids eat whatever I wanted, I was like, huh? And then he's like, dirt or glass or bugs. And now I'm the bully. Ha 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 ha. And I'm like, oh, God. It's like a cheap Kane. You know, all his promos are like 2002 Kane or Heidenreich or Gene Snitsky. It's just terrible. And I don't want him in the wrestling business anymore. Get out of here, Lars. Just awful. Another Lars promo. Like we needed that on SmackDown tonight. Blech.
Well, I'd be surprised if he's not going to be on Team SmackDown because I think he makes sense. If they have Braun Strowman on Raw, I think they'd want to make it kind of even, have like the Freak and the Monster, I guess, on opposite sides.
So you kill off the Freak right away?
No, you just have that confrontation. You don't kill it off. And then you just like, oh, wouldn't this be cool as a match one day? Which could probably happen at WrestleMania.
If you put Lars on Team SmackDown, though, SmackDown's probably got to win because Lars is basically unstoppable at this point. Right?
No, well,
how do you eliminate Lars?
Double count out with Strowman.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be fair.
You could do that, I guess. I don't really want to see Lars do anything. No, I don't care.
I know you don't care.
I don't care at all. Survivor Series looks terrible. I guess the rest of Team SmackDown needs to get booked, though. They've got Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and somebody. You think Lars? How about Big E? Big E's not booked at Survivor Series.
He would be a better choice, but, I mean, what did he do this week on SmackDown? Just, like, jokes with the Street Profits.
Yeah. He played Trivial Pursuit with some random lady. I don't know who that was. He was on the floor playing Trivial Pursuit with some lady when we found Big E backstage. And then Street Profits showed up, and they're like, you got any tips to wrestle New Day? And he's like, yeah, lay down so Kofi and Woods don't beat you up too badly. And then he starts laughing at them. They all had a good laugh. And then Billie Kay showed up, and she's like, I've got intel on guys from Raw. And then they're like, we were on Raw the same time as you, Billie Kay. And she's like, oh, yeah. Poor Billie Kay. I feel bad for her. Super talented. Got sent to SmackDown away from her best friend, Peyton Royce. And what are they doing to Peyton Royce? Putting her in a makeshift tag team with Lacey Evans. That's WWE.
Lacey's good, though.
Yeah, but that's WWE in a nutshell. They have a real tag team in the Iconics. One of the only, if not the only, legitimate real tag team in their women's tag team division. They are together. They came in together. They have a tag team name. They have a similar look. They're both Australian. They've known each other forever. They want to be a tag team.
Had a pose.
Yeah. They split them up. They have a match where it's like, you can never be a tag team again. They can't be a tag team again. They're still friends on Raw. They get drafted apart. Peyton stays on Raw. Billy's sent to SmackDown. They have nothing for Peyton on Raw, so they put her in another tag team now with Lacey Evans. And yeah, Lacey is good. Lacey's good by herself. She doesn't need to be in a tag team. And if you wanted Peyton Royce in a tag team, why not keep her with her tag team partner? It's ridiculous. You got to be joking me, as Billie Kay would say.
Well, I think they want to make Peyton Royce to a bigger star, so I guess they felt they had to break up the team to do that. I agree. I think it was way too early to do it, but I guess they felt they needed to do this now. I think they don't see that much in Billie Kay, but they're trying to get the most out of her now, obviously, with this whole, picture gimmick that she's doing. I don't feel like that's going to last too long, though.
She's like a female R-Truth on SmackDown right now. She's just like dumb and comedic.
Well, let's face it, in the ring, it's not much better.
Okay, but you could say that about most people on the roster at this point. At least Billie Kay can talk. At least she can talk.
She's got that, that's for sure. And they're getting that out of her for sure.
Yeah, a little bit here and there. Lars Sullivan got more promo time, which, I'd rather watch Billie Kay than Lars Sullivan. In anything Lars Sullivan might do. So that was SmackDown. And I didn't really like it. At all. At all! I liked Raw, though. Raw was alright, I guess.
The first, Sasha and Bayley was alright. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It was like a decent match to start off SmackDown where I really didn't think Bayley was going to win the titles. So, whatever. Get it over with. And then the rest of the show was like the Mysterio family drama and the Roman Reigns family drama.
Right. Well, that's the problem, too. When you start the show off with your best match, it's usually not a good show.
Well, Kevin and Jey Uso was all right. Gotta love Kevin Owens.
It was all right, but I thought the finish was kind of weak. And, it was just okay.
Match of the week from WWE, I would give to the triple threat on Raw. Braun,
yeah, that was good.
Sheamus, and Keith Lee. I thought that was very good. New Day's match was good, too. New Day against Cedric and Shelton. That was a good one.
It was all right, but I give it more to the triple threat.
Yeah, the triple threat was very good, man. I really liked that match. Sheamus is kicking ass lately. Anytime you watch Sheamus, who did he work 2 weeks ago? Matt Riddle, right? He had a really good match with Riddle, who's not on Raw this week. So strange, But Sheamus had a really good match with Riddle a couple weeks ago. This week he has a really good match with Keith Lee and Braun Strowman in a triple threat. And of course, you knew Strowman was going to win going into it, but it was still fun along the way. So AJ Styles cuts an in-ring promo about Survivor Series. He says he's the team captain. He introduces his teammates, Sheamus and Keith Lee. They're not too pleased with AJ calling himself the captain. Braun Strowman shows up, and he's like, the team needs me, and I should be the captain. And then Adam Pearce is like, all right, but you have to qualify for the team, Braun Strowman, but nobody wants to wrestle you for a qualifying match. And then Keith Lee's like, I'll wrestle him. I will wrestle him, good sir. I am Keith Lee. I love to wrestle, and I am a sportsman, and we can have a wrestling match tonight in this ring on Monday Night Raw, sir. That's my Keith Lee impression. What do you think? His promos suck.
I mean,
that guy needs to loosen up.
It's basically Kelsey Grammer and X-Men. It's exactly what it is.
Frazier?
When he was Beast in X-Men, it's exactly that.
That's what Keith Lee is?
100%. Like the way he talks, like it's exactly that.
I didn't see that X-Men. I didn't know Frazier was an X-Men. Was he was Niles there?
No, I don't believe so.
Too bad.
Or Daft.
Frazier. Love Frazier. What a show that was. Fantastic. So Sheamus and Frazier are not happy with... Can we just call Keith Lee Frazier from now on? So Frazier Lee... So AJ's like, all right, well, if you both want to wrestle Braun Strowman, how about this? How about Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, and Sheamus in a triple threat match? And if Braun wins, he gets to be on our Survivor Series team. So it's like, all right, well, Sheamus and Keith Lee are already on the team. Obviously, Braun is going to win this match. He hit the slam on Sheamus for the pinfall. AJ Styles was on commentary. He was celebrating Braun joining the team after the match. Gets in the ring, wants everybody to shake hands. He gets Braun and Keith Lee to shake hands. Braun and Sheamus shake hands. Sheamus actually hugs Braun, but then he bro kicks him because he's like, nah. Fuck you, Braun Strowman. And then Keith Lee pounces Sheamus out of the ring. And then AJ gets all mad and he kicks Keith Lee out of the ring. And he's like, why? Why couldn't we all just get along? Why? In the middle of the ring. Just mad that his team couldn't get along. And he had to just like kick the last guy out because he's just mad at his team. And he really does seem like the team captain. You know, they can't get along. AJ's trying to bring everybody together. He fools his whole team into wrestling each other while he sits there on commentary. He's very much the team captain. I see him as a team captain. And I loved it. Why? Why can't we all just get along? That was great, man. Well, AJ's great. He was great on commentary, great in that little segment. He's good.
Yeah, he's great. It's fantastic. I love the story they're doing, but he's not going to be a team captain because the last member is going to be team captain, and it's going to be Drew McIntyre.
Okay. Yeah, Drew McIntyre's like delusional, eh? So Drew McIntyre's really confused with how many weeks there are leading up to Survivor Series and Randy Orton's schedule at Survivor Series. Because Sheamus is backstage with Drew McIntyre, right? And Sheamus is like, hey, fella, it's good to see you back on Raw together. We're good friends because we're both from similar parts of the world, even though Sheamus is Irish and Drew is Scottish. It's like, whatever. They grew up wrestling together. They've known each other for a long time, right? They're buddy-buddy. Which I thought was weird because Drew is a babyface and Sheamus is a heel?
Yeah, but, still friends. It's like Sting and Luger.
Okay. That's a really old reference to figure out a way for this to make sense. I like it.
It works.
Now Drew said, so Sheamus wants Drew to join Team Raw at Survivor Series, right? And Drew's like, I would love to, but I'm focused on regaining the WWE title before Survivor Series. How are you going to do that? So Sheamus is like, Drew, come on my team for Survivor Series. Drew's like, no, I'm focused on the WWE title. Randy Orton is wrestling Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, okay? Which, like, WWE needs to be reminded of because no one's talking about it on their shows. It's 2 weeks away. Roman's not talking about it. Randy's not talking about it. They're just focused on their own things on their own shows. They don't care about their match.
Well, Randy started the show. He was, like, talking about being the best ever. So, I mean, that kind of implied...
He didn't say Roman's name.
No, he didn't. But that match will help, like, solidify his statement.
Anyways, so Drew is like, yeah, I'm focused on getting the title back before Survivor Series. How's he going to win the WWE title in the next 2 weeks? First of all, Randy's wrestling Roman in Survivor Series, and Drew, like, he's delusional. The Drew McIntyre character is very confused. He beats Miz and Morrison by himself, which I didn't watch that match. I'm not watching that. You kidding me?
It was the main event of Raw.
Yeah, I know. I saw it was the main event of Raw. I was like, this is your main event? Drew versus Miz and Morrison? I don't know how long the match was. I watched maybe 3 minutes of it total. Skip, skip. What are they doing? Skip, skip. What are they doing? Oh, there's John Morrison getting tossed around. All right, skip, skip. Claymore. It's over. Randy Orton predictably hitting the RKO on Drew after the match. And then the Fiend laughter happened and Randy looked nervous. So why would we believe in Drew McIntyre? First of all, he's delusional. He thinks he's going to become WWE champion before Survivor Series, which, like, no. Randy's not going to give you a match on Raw Monday or next Monday. And second of all, Randy Orton is involved with this mini feud, this kind of remnants of a feud with Drew McIntyre, right? At Survivor Series, Randy wrestles Roman Reigns. The Fiend laughter hit after Randy did the RKO on Drew. So Randy's standing tall, and his next feud on Raw is already presenting itself. So Drew McIntyre, on the list of priorities for Randy Orton, has got to be pretty far down the list. Like, he's got his next pay-per-view match, Roman Reigns, and he's got his next feud already set up, already going with The Fiend. Randy's going to be on Moment of Bliss with Alexa Bliss, right? Or was it Drew? Who's going to be on? Oh, Drew. Drew's going to be on Moment of Bliss. So, like, The Fiend is doing something with Randy. Roman is going to have a pay-per-view match with Randy, and Drew McIntyre is trying to get his attention. Why is anybody going to believe in Drew McIntyre here?
Well, he's kind of Randy's guardian angel at this point, right? Because The Miz tried to do a cash-in, and Drew's like, the only one who's going to beat Randy is me kind of thing. So it seems like no matter what Randy does, Drew McIntyre is going to be around.
Yeah, that was another thing. Drew McIntyre is stupid. He's not only delusional and confused about the WWE schedule, he's a moron. Because
How so?
Randy's in the ring, cutting a promo. He's like, people say I was handpicked and protected by Triple H. He never said he wasn't. He's just like, people say that. It's like, yeah, you were. You were handpicked by the WWE, and Triple H protected you for a good portion of your career. You gonna say it's not true? That's why you are who you are, Randy. You're not John Cena. You're Randy Orton. You didn't do it yourself. You were handpicked. You've always been handpicked, Randy. Talking about how I'm the best of the best. You're not, Randy. Not even close. And as time goes on, it's more and more obvious to me. So Alexa Bliss comes out. She stands in the ring. The Fiend lights happen. Drew McIntyre hits the ring, hits a Claymore kick on Randy Orton, right? Randy's down, okay?
Yeah.
Miz and Morrison show up, try to cash in Money in the Bank. Drew lost clean to Randy 2 weeks ago at Hell in a Cell. He lost to Randy. He can beat Miz and Morrison on his own in a 2-on-1 match. Why wouldn't you allow Miz to cash in on Randy so that you could easily take back the WWE title, as opposed to letting Randy hold the title, the guy who beats you and will probably beat you again? Like, I get it, he's proud, and I'm the only one that can take it off Randy, but, like, if you want to be champion so bad, why not let Miz take it, then you can beat an easy champion? Stupid Drew McIntyre. The character is dumb.
He doesn't take the easy route. He's going to do it his way, and that's it.
Yeah, because he's a dummy.
A lot of respect for that. A lot of respect.
Yeah. A lot of respect for the Scottish psychopath. Anyways, so that happened on Raw. All that Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton stuff just permeating throughout Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles was a bright point, as always. Sheamus Braun Strowman and Keith Lee were a bright point. I thought New Day was a bright spot. I really liked New Day's promo on Bobby Lashley and MVP and Shelton and the whole Hurt Business. That was great stuff. Hurt Business in the ring. They're talking. Bobby starts talking about Sami Zayn because Bobby has remembered he has a Survivor Series match with Sami Zayn, which is good. New Day shows up. He's like, oh, I'm a big fan of our United States champion. I even got in trouble for staying up late to watch his matches because I was going to grade 7 at the time, and Bobby Lashley was wrestling in WWE because he's old, which I thought was very funny because they are old. And yeah, I was a kid when Bobby Lashley was wrestling. So was Woods. We're roughly the same age. Shelton Benjamin, too, was wrestling when I was a kid. So was MVP. And they're still wrestling today. And, Kofi's like, oh, yeah, Shelton MVP, you guys are great. You guys have been doing it for a long time. And Cedric Alexander, well, you're here. I thought that was really good. I liked Kofi's promo. Kofi and Woods, great promo. And Kofi's like, look, I've won more titles than all of you guys combined. Even the WWE title that Bobby Lashley, you could never get your hands on. And then MVP is like, yeah, Kofi, you lost that title in 8 seconds. And then Kofi's like, oh, that's funny you said 8 seconds because according to Lana, that's as long as Bobby Lashley can last. He's talking about sexual performance there, which, whatever, cheap little joke. But the promo up until then I thought was really good. And then the match was really good too. Cedric and Shelton actually won, beating Kofi and Xavier Woods. Good match.
Not the title.
Good promo. Not for the titles. No. Non-title match. Which, of course, means that they will get a title match and they will lose.
More than likely, because, they've been kind of building up this whole New Day versus Street Profits. So I think that's the match I think people want to see. But it actually would be nice to see Hurt Business win because we're getting too much of this heel versus heel, face versus face matches. It's nice to actually get a heel versus face match actually on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So what, Hurt Business against Street? No, I think Street Profits versus New Day is kind of a dream match that should happen. I want to see it.
Well, it's not. It's a match I think people want to see. I wouldn't call it a dream match, but sure.
People want to see it.
Street Profits are okay. I wouldn't call them like a dream team.
No, but it's
New
a
Day.
similar gimmick, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I get the appeal towards this, but saying Street Profits is like one of the best tag teams of all time, I think that's way too early to say that.
No, definitely not. But I'm saying I'm more interested in a New Day versus Street Profits match than Street Profits versus Hurt Business, which I feel like we've seen already.
Yeah, you may be right, yeah. Probably.
On Raw? No? I don't know. I don't want to see that. I don't care about that. Just like I don't care about Ricochet and whether or not he's going to join Retribution or whatever. Ricochet is a WWE problem. A guy as talented as Ricochet is only this much of a jobber in WWE. In no other wrestling promotion would they have a guy as talented as Rick O'Shea and just totally make him a piece of trash loser that you don't care about. That's what they do to people. They take mucho talented wrestlers that tear up every company they go to, and then they bring them to the WWE and they cut them down to size. Like, yeah, you were really good and whatever, but now you're just like a jobber. You suck now. It's really sad what they've done to Ricochet. But he finally looked strong in a match. He beat Tucker, which, poor Tucker. Tucker's just a job guy now. And Mustafa Ali watched the squash match. Retribution showed up after the match, tossing Ricochet out of the ring before putting a beating on Tucker. And then Retribution brought Ricochet back in the ring and were kind of circling him. They looked like they were observing him and maybe trying to get him to join, right? But then Ricochet didn't allow them to do anything. He attacked them first, so then they attacked him and beat him up and left him laying. Who cares? Mustafa Ali and Ricochet will probably be a good match if they're given some time. Other than that?
Well, let's face it here. They've done this with a lot of high flyers over the past WWE. They'll showcase their amazing athletic ability for a couple matches, and then once that fad kind of fades away and they've gotten used to it, or they're just kind of like sick and tired of seeing it, then they'll eventually just kill it. Evan Bourne, Paul London, Ricochet's on that list.
Yeah, it's too bad. Apollo Crews.
See, the great thing about Kofi Kingston is that he was able to evolve. You got to evolve past like the cool high flying moves. You have to become more of a character.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you pretty much become extinct like the other ones.
Yeah,
in WWE.
Kofi was able to hang on a lot longer than a lot of guys, though. Kofi had more of a character the whole way through. He just really found the character and got to a new level with New Day.
Well, the Jamaican gimmick wasn't the best gimmick, too. I mean,
sure,
it
but
helped that he changed.
Yeah, but you look at Kofi's history before New Day, multiple-time tag team champion, intercontinental champion. Like, they gave Kofi a lot of stuff before he was ever in New Day. Ricochet has not. Yeah. I mean, he was, U.S. champion, I think, for a brief period?
That's it, yeah, so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, Kofi definitely was given a lot more than some of these other guys. I mean, we say, Kofi wasn't given his due until New Day and all that, but, it's true to a certain extent. But he was also, winning tag team titles with CM Punk and Evan Bourne, and, he was doing all right. It wasn't terrible. R-Truth, Kofi was tag team champion with many different guys. So, they always tried with Kofi. With Ricochet, not so much. Jeff Hardy wrestled Elias in a guitar on a pole match. I skipped through a good chunk of this because Elias. Jeff eventually grabbed the guitar, jumped off the second rope, smashed it on Elias, and then pinned him.
Well, he kind of botched the guitar shot. I don't know if you noticed that.
Why? He hit him straight in the back, no?
It didn't really break. Like, he hit, and then he, smashed it against the post afterwards to truly break it.
Yeah. Whatever. Guitar on a pole match with Elias. Who wants to see that?
The way they made the stipulation, they announced stipulation, it's like you have to get the guitar off the pole, hit the guy with it to win. I didn't realize it's hit the guy and then pin him. I thought that was a little just it wasn't necessary whatsoever to add the pin.
Yeah. Could they have won without hitting each other with the guitar?
Well, it seemed like you had to get the guitar, but it's okay, and then what if Elias went for a pin afterwards? Could he have not won the match? It was kind of not very clear on that.
Yeah, it was dumb. Anything on a pole is all right. R-Truth was funny. He thought he was wrestling Bobby Boucher instead of Bobby Lashley. He wanted him to autograph his water bottle. Of course, the famous Waterboy character from the Adam Sandler movie, The Waterboy, Bobby Boucher. I don't know if everybody got that reference, but I think enough people did. And then he talks about Bobby Lashley putting people in Nelson from The Simpsons, which he meant the full Nelson, but, R-Truth, he's a little confused. Funny little promo from Truth, then Bobby Lashley beat him up, squashed him, put him in a full Nelson. Poor Ronald. Drew Gulak came out to try and win the 24/7 title. Bobby Lashley beat him up and then tossed him on Truth so that Gulak could win the 24/7 title. So is Gulak the 24/7 champion now?
For now.
For now. Until Truth wins it back. And that's pretty much everything that happened on Raw, right? Nikki Cross is scared of contact lenses. Nikki Cross backstage with Alexa Bliss. She's like, Alexa, we have to be friends again. What's the problem? You can't listen to the Fiend anymore. And then Alexa's got her back turned the whole time. And then she turns around and she's just got contact lenses on to make her eyes look scary. And Nikki Cross is like, oh no! And she runs away. I know my Nikki Cross accent is basically like Mrs. Doubtfire, but you get the point.
Or it's a female Sheamus, but yeah,
you
sure.
Virginia Doubtfire, dear. Anyways.
That's more Doubtfire there.
Yeah, you like that. Help is on the way. Classic movie. I'm cracking myself up. I'm cracking myself up. Gotta love Mrs. Doubtfire. I've seen that movie a million times. Oh, it's great stuff. Classic. Yeah, so Nikki Cross Doubtfire, she's all scared of Alexa Bliss's contact lenses. I'm sorry, but like if you were talking to me and I had my back turned to you and then I turned around and I had like freaky contact lens eyes and you ran away, there'd be something wrong with you. You'd be like, oh, contact lenses, eh? But Nikki Cross is like, she's possessed, and she runs away. Okay.
Well, no, this is on par for WWE television. On NXT,
stupid.
people are running away because they think there's zombies coming after them. So
What?
I mean, yeah, this is like on par with everything. Like Cameron Grimes on NXT was running away because he thought zombies were after him.
For a shoot zombies?
Well, I mean, they're not actual zombies, right?
Well,
But
yeah, there aren't real zombies. Don't
portray it.
exist, John. So they have
Exactly,
a zombie gimmick in NXT. Man, I haven't watched NXT in a while. Jesus, that sounds terrible. I heard Walter had a really good match with Dragunov on NXT UK. I heard that match was gangbusters, but I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard the same thing. Apparently, it's like match of the year kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, that's it. I agree. I agree with you. I will watch it. I haven't watched it, but I probably will. Actually, I'll probably wait for you to watch it, and then if it's worth it, you tell me, okay? Because, like, there's only so much time in the day. Walter's cool, but, you know. Nia Jax beat Lana in a squash match, and then she put Lana through the announce table again. Now, before that match, Lana cut a pre-match promo, but so did Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce backstage for some reason. I don't know why they were doing a promo, and I don't know why they were touching each other so much. Did you notice there were, like, hands all over each other in that promo? What was going on there? Why were they touching each other so much? I was like, are they going to kiss? What's happening? They were, like, really rubbing on each other,
Right.
Lacey and Peyton. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I was a little confused.
I think it was just to show that they're friendly with each other because I believe
Very friendly.
they were kind of like not on the same page in their tag match. It seemed like they were kind of against each other. So this was to show that they were actually a team.
Well, I will watch Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce rub on each other as long as they want to. That is a good time for me. Compared to the rest of Raw, like, that's a highlight. Sorry.
I thought the tag team title match was actually not bad.
No, it was good. The what?
Well, not the Street Profit one. I was talking about Nia and Shayna. They defended against Mandy and Dana. I thought that was all right.
When was that?
That was like, I think the second, or maybe it was even the first match.
That was on Raw this week? But
That was on
Nia
Raw.
wrestled
Yeah,
Lana.
Nia wrestled twice this week. This is Raw, like 3 hours. People wrestle more than once.
How did I miss that? I must have skipped over that.
The show. Yeah.
Was it a short match?
Yeah, it was probably 5 minutes, but I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Well, I guess I missed it altogether. It wasn't bad, eh? Well, Nia and Shayna obviously won.
Lana came out, and it seemed like she was trying to cause Nia and Shayna the match, but she actually cost Dana the match, and that's what led to the whole Nia-Lana match.
I don't think I missed much, though, John. Really? Like a 5-minute Dana Brooke, Mandy versus Shayna and Nia match? I missed it, but I can't say that I regret missing it. All right.
Well, going into that, I'm like, this could be god-awful. I thought it was going to be, but I'm like, this is not bad. This wasn't terrible.
So it wasn't awful. Well, that's good, Johnny. I'm glad that it wasn't horrific. I want to stop talking about the WWE because I think we've gone through everything on Raw. Is there anything else happening before we get to AEW?
I don't believe so.
No. Good. Thank God. Survivor Series is in 2 weeks' time. It'll happen. We'll watch it. We'll do a post show for Survivor Series. We're doing a post show for AEW Full Gear as well tomorrow night. We'll do it'll be like I think we'll come on towards the end of the show, maybe during the main event, and then we'll be on after the show. We'll recap everything. We'll give our thoughts on the whole AEW Full Gear. We're not going to do a watch-along for the show. It's a little long of a show. I want to be able to watch it with the sound on. You know what I mean? I feel like when we watch pro wrestling with the sound off, when we do the watch-alongs, we don't get the full experience. So I want to watch this pay-per-view with the sound on. And when the pay-per-view is over, we'll be back here on YouTube and on Facebook Live and on Twitch for the Wrestling Uncensored WWE or AEW, Full Gear post-show.
Sure.
/ WWE
would love that.
WWE AEW.
Own AEW. Yeah.
They gave
Just
up.
like they took over WCW.
They gave up on. Maybe one day they gave up on the Cody Rhodes trademark, right? Are they giving Cody his name back?
Yeah, but I feel it's with conditions because apparently Cody's not going to use it in wrestling. So I think they gave it to him so he could use it when he's in like different forms of media. Because Cody's doing that reality show or something, and he wanted to use Cody Rhodes for that.
Right.
So I think for like social media and all that kind of stuff, like he can use it. But in wrestling, I don't think he still can. I think that was it seems like that was the agreement, it seems. Because I don't know why he wouldn't use it in wrestling, because it's kind of stupid when you just announce this Cody all the time.
Jericho called him Cody Rhodes on commentary.
See, I think that's it. They can let it slip. It's not a huge deal, but for whatever reason, he can't be announced as Cody Rhodes. Or for whatever reason, like maybe he just doesn't want it, which is stupid, but
yeah,
that's what we're getting.
I mean, Brandy uses the Rhodes name. Why wouldn't Cody?
Well, it's just, again, on the marquee, I mean, Cody, versus like Chris Jericho doesn't sound very good. I mean,
no.
If you don't know who Cody is.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is just way better. I wish WWE would just let him use it in wrestling. Like, come on, stop being so petty. Be a babyface company for once. You know what I mean? Like, get some positive press from the wrestling media. Stop being the evil empire that you are, WWE. Just give Cody his name. Come on. See Kevin Owens wearing a Dusty Rhodes shirt on SmackDown this week? Interesting. Any shirt he could have worn wears a Dusty Rhodes shirt. I mean, doesn't mean anything, but doesn't mean nothing,
Well, it's just respect, really, if you think about it. They still do the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament in WWE.
Mako8033 says Lacey and Royce are going erotic storyline. They teased seniors through a window at a senior's residence.
Lacey did. I don't believe Peyton did, but Lacey did. I feel Lacey did that on her own, though. I don't think that was part of a storyline.
When did that happen?
Oh, I feel like that was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. She was with her kid, actually, and she did that.
Like sexually teasing?
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. She just put her leg up, kind of lifted her skirt by doing that. It was odd. But I guess she just, I don't know if she meant to do it the way it came out like that. I think she just wanted to surprise fans, who were seniors. And that happened. I mean, it was cool that she did something like that, but I think some people may have taken it like that was too much.
She was like showing her boobs? What was going on?
I don't think she was showing her boobs. She just, like how her leg was kind of lifted up because she put her leg on top of the window still.
All right.
So just imagine it like that.
Yeah, I don't care. AEW Dynamite. State the room, break the fuse, Dynamite. Full Gear's coming up. We had the Go Home Dynamite. Before we get to that, I want to tell you about our friends over at Manscaped. You want to go to manscaped.com, like all your favorite professional wrestlers, looking fresh, looking good. Keep it neat and tidy down there. You don't want your gimmick hairs to come out of your wrestling gear. You know what I'm saying? You don't want some hairs sticking out of your gear. It doesn't look good. Nobody likes that. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code ringside20. Get 20% off your order plus free shipping. They've got the Lawnmower 3.0 now available in Canada. Fantastic technology. You will not get cut. You will not get nicked. You can shave right down to the skin. Skin-safe technology from the Lawnmower 3.0. Now available in Canada from manscaped.com. Help out the Ringside Report Network and yourself and your balls with manscaped.com. Go to manscaped.com. And use the promo code ringside20 for 20% off your whole order plus free shipping. Christmas is coming. Get ready. Manscaped.com, promo code ringside20. Christmas is coming, Johnny.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great Christmas gift. Even
Yes.
the nose trimmer as well would be great.
Yes, the ear and nose hair trimmer. You saw that, the weed whacker we were talking about on ringside last night. Fantastic.
I heard
think
about it. Yeah.
Freddie's gonna buy one. He needs it. He says he's got ear hairs now. I mean, things happen, man. You gotta get. No one wants ear hairs. You gotta trim that. Manscaped.com.
Well, I can only imagine if your kid's like yanking on your ear hair, like that must be like
Ouchie.
torture. Like, wow.
Ouch. Yeah, that sounds super painful. So, yeah. Fred needs to get himself the weed whacker. So do you, Johnny. We all need it. Let's get to
I actually don't need it for the ears.
Okay.
Maybe the nose, but not the ear.
All right. Let's not talk any more about your body hair. Let's get to AEW Full Gear. So, MJF and Wardlow beat Ortiz and Sammy Guevara in a tag team match. MJF getting the Fujiwara armbar on Ortiz for the win. Matt Hardy hit Sammy Guevara with a chair during the match, which I guess the referee didn't care about or didn't see or whatever. Chris Jericho was on commentary and got taken out by MJF with a tackle through the commentary backdrop after the match. Refs pulled MJF off Jericho, and Jericho was smiling a little bit afterwards, seeing that MJF has a killer instinct because they will wrestle at Full Gear. And if MJF wins, he gets to be in the inner circle. I like that Jericho took that bump, but then just stayed on commentary the rest of the night. I had no problem with that. I thought that was good. It's like, yeah, all right, I took one bump, but like, what? It's not going to take me out. It's good.
Right? That was great. I didn't
in
mind that.
WWE, he'd be done from commentary. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought actually, I thought he was just there for that match, right? I didn't realize he'd be there for the whole night, but it's better like that he's there. He adds more to the show. I thought he was mainly there just for that match. So it was a nice bonus. And surprising, usually, you take that kind of bump, you usually leave, and maybe you do another segment somewhere else, but that was cool they did that. But the match was weird, though, because, you had two heel teams against each other. It was good, action back and forth, but it's very weird how AEW, they pretty much book heels versus heels and faces versus faces. It feels like almost every match was like that. I don't understand how they can never book faces versus heels ever.
Oh, Miro and Trent.
Yeah, okay, that was one.
I thought that was the match of the night.
I suppose it wasn't the moment, but I guess it was match. There wasn't a lot of strong matches. This was mainly just build for the pay-per-view, which I thought they did okay for that. But that's what hurt the show, I think, was just the lack of big-time matches.
I think what hurt the show is the lack of big-time matches, and then all the promos that they did sounded all echoey. Did you notice that? The echo? I might be able to, I don't know, tell me if I sound echoey now. Johnny, do you hear me? Do I sound like I have an echo? You hear that?
Yeah, I noticed that at the
Hey,
beginning
look,
of
Johnny,
Dynamite, but
I'm an AEW promo. This is what AEW promos sound like. What's going on there? You hear the arena echo? You couldn't hear anything during most of those video packages. Was that just my feed? What's going on with AEW's audio issues? They had a Young Bucks promo thing. Couldn't hear a goddamn thing. Major echo. You hear the arena sound. You don't. Just cut the arena sound and just give us the video feed. Hangman Page interviewed by Jim Ross backstage. Can't hear a thing. It happened again. It was Kenny Omega was interviewed backstage. Couldn't hear a thing. Kenny Omega Hangman Page video package plays. Can't hear a thing. Any backstage promo that they did to set up this pay-per-view was all echoey and you couldn't hear what the hell was going on. The Kenny Omega sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone, I would have enjoyed had I been able to listen to it properly. It sounded like shit.
well, he didn't really say too much. Just
No, but you heard. You heard how bad it sounded, right? What was with the audio there? It makes them look really low rate when they can't get their fucking audio right in any of their promo segments. Like, not a single one came off correctly. You're a major league show. This is your go-home TV show. You're on national television in the States and in Canada. And all your promos sound all echoey. Everything sounds like this. Who's an AEW promo? Hey! It's ridiculous.
Well, because, yeah, they're feeding off the audio in the arena, right? They're not feeding off the video, so that was the problem. Like, you're pretty much hearing it how everyone else was hearing it in the arena, so that's what I think threw it off. Like, I felt like they switched it, though. Like, I thought the earlier promos was like that, but later on it got fixed.
I don't know. Didn't sound fixed. This is what it sounded like the whole time. Hey, what's going on? Hey, it's me, Kenny Omega, for AEW. At Full Gear, I'm gonna... That's what it sounded like to me. No?
Okay. Well,
you
maybe
like that
check
we can do those effects?
That is cool. But not
Look
cool
at
if you
us,
do that
Johnny.
on purpose.
Well, no, it's not cool. I mean, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. I didn't like that. That really pissed me off. I'm trying to hear, I've been in the radio business for a very long time, so audio issues piss me off. You know what I mean? Like, come on, just get the audio right. It's not that hard. Audio should be the easiest thing to get right. The video's tough, believe me. Believe me, we've done podcasting and video shows for a long time. Audio's easy. It's the video that's tough.
The good thing is they're probably going to re-air.
Sorry. Go ahead.
They're probably going to re-air a lot of those video packages anyways, either for the countdown show or actually on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see it in better quality.
Yeah, give me that countdown show. Give me that countdown show. Wasn't that airing? Isn't that airing right now? Shit. Let's not talk about it. Forget it.
Well, it's on YouTube, whatever. You could watch it throughout the day,
We're on YouTube. Only watch us.
Yeah, YouTube. You can watch it later.
That's right. Okay.
That's it.
That's right. So Kenny Omega's interviewed, and he says, he didn't seem to be taking Hangman too seriously. He thinks he's destined to win the tournament, become the next AEW champion. Great. Later on, it's the Young Bucks versus Private Party. Young Bucks get the win after the BTE trigger. FTR attack the Bucks after the match. Hangman makes the save for the Bucks. So Hangman is like trying to help the Bucks, even though they have their beef. And then Kenny Omega shows up as backup. And then Kenny and Hangman kind of look at each other. They have a big match, but they fist bump and they're all cool. The Elite seems like they are a unit and they are all on the same page for the first time in months, right? When is the last time you saw Kenny, Hangman, Matt, and Nick Jackson in the ring together where everything is good? I liked it.
Yeah,
It was a nice moment.
Stadium Stampede. Yeah, nice moment, and then they followed it up with this video package where they play that Cinderella song, and it's like, well, that completely was different from what we just saw. Like, I don't know if maybe you didn't hear it right, but
no,
like,
I saw that one. That one didn't have audio issues. The Kenny Hangman video package there, yeah, with the music.
But it's like you just did the fist pump, and then you play the song. You don't know what's gone until it's gone, kind of thing. And then it's like, well, they're not really broken up. They kind of were okay. Like, it's going to be a friendly competition. It's not like they hate each other. So that was kind of off-putting.
I don't know. I think their friendship adds another layer to the match. I really do. I think it makes it more interesting. Let's get to the match. Hangman Page, Kenny Omega. This is the main event of the show for me. I don't care what actually main events the show. My opinion, this is the main event. This is the match. This is the one that everybody is paying to see. I know that there's a world title match here, but as far as I'm concerned, I put out a poll earlier today at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter, and I said, what should main event Full Gear? Moxley versus Eddie Kingston, the Young Bucks versus FTR, or Kenny versus Hangman Page. Overwhelming result. Easier to solve than a presidential election, Kenny and Hangman with 65.5% of the vote. I mean, you get 65.5% of the vote, you can claim voter fraud all you want. That's a victory. All right? Stop the count, Johnny North. Stop the count. Kenny and Hangman have won. Okay? Kenny and Hangman are the voted number one main event match, followed by Moxley and Kingston with 24% and Bucks and FTR at 10.3%. So, Kenny and Hangman seen as the real main event, not only by me, but the Wrestling Uncensored universe. I don't think they're going to go on last, but I do think it's the most important match of the card. I think it means a lot. And I think it doesn't go on last because they're going to, whoever wins will show up after the title match to confront the champion, Moxley. I think Kenny probably shows up and goes face-to-face with Moxley to close his pay-per-view. Maybe even V-triggers him.
Yeah, that could very well happen. It's just difficult to say that it's the most important match. I mean, there's a lot of important matches on this pay-per-view. A lot of big matches when you think about it, so it's very difficult to say this is the most important match. I mean, FTR Young Bucks, that's a match years in the making, right?
Yep.
I mean, people can hate the whole way that they build it up, but people have been anticipating this match for years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult to say, Kenny and Hangman. I mean, it should be a good match. Say it's the most important match. Very tough. And plus, you have Cody and Darby Allin. Those matches are always fantastic. And when you think about it, Darby really needs to win this match.
I don't know about that. Kenny and Hangman to me is very important because it determines the future of AEW. I think the winner of this match is the next world champion. And I think the winner of this match should be the next world champion and would make a better world champion than the current guy. I think Hangman would make a great champion, so would Kenny, but I think it's Kenny's time. Kenny's in his prime. Kenny's the man. He's got to win the AEW world title at some point. This is his time. I think the match will steal the show. I think it'll be the number one match that you see on Full Gear, and it may be the number one match that you see all year in professional wrestling. That's how big this match is. Over a year in the making, a very long tag team title run between Kenny and Hangman. You knew that it was all leading up to this. This is a long time coming. Long time coming. And this is the match that I want to see more than anything. Kenny and Hangman are going to tear the motherfucking house down. Kenny Omega, best bout machine. The next AEW World's Champion. Hell yeah. Cleaner time.
Well, you're clearly giving away other predictions now by saying that, but I do agree with you on this because, I was able to hear those promos, and based off those promos, it definitely feels like Kenny's going to win.
Hell yeah. Kenny's the man. I love Kenny Omega. I don't know if I love another wrestler as much as I love Kenny Omega. Well, Daniel Bryan. But I just got deep admiration and respect for both guys, and I just appreciate everything that they do. I'm such a big fan. Guys like Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan are the reason why I still watch professional wrestling in 2020. Hangman, too. I love Hangman. What a talent. Kenny and Hangman.
Well,
Hangman is a future champion. Hangman is 29. Okay? He's going to be champion in the next 5 years. Kenny's 37. It's Kenny's time. Kenny now, Hangman later. I love Hangman, but he's 29. He's got all the time in the world. He will be the AEW World Champion one day. He will be the ace of the company, and he may be regarded as the number one wrestler in the world one day. Not today. Not today. It's Kenny's day. Kenny's the number one.
Well,
Kenny's 37. This is his time. This is his prime as a professional wrestler. His athletic prime, everything.
I mean, I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking just the way they built this up. And it would just make sense for Kenny's character to finally truly turn heel in a sense. Because, he hasn't really been this whole, evil person that they kind of been trying to portray a bit. Like, it's really just Kenny comes out with a different entrance, one squash match, and then he was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to win because I'm great.
Damn
Like,
right.
we need to see this. Well, it's great to be confident and all that, but let's see Kenny go that extra mile to win a match. He seems to hint it at times. He's hinted going the
Do you
extra
just
mile,
call him
but
a
he doesn't
cunt?
actually do it. No, like, he's hinted going the extra mile, but he never does.
I think you just called him a cunt. I don't know what your problem is. Anyways.
I think hint and that C word might sound similar at
You
times.
said can't.
But
You said can't, but you misspoke. Anyways, it's okay. I see TK on the chat. He says twinkle toes. Is he talking about Kenny Omega? Isn't that what Jim Cornette calls him or something?
I think he calls him Kenny Olivier, if I'm not mistaken.
Jim Cornette's distaste of Kenny Omega disqualifies him from any rational thought in professional wrestling in 2020. It's like, all right, Jim Cornette, I understand he's not your cup of tea, but he's obviously incredible. And the fact that you think he sucks is ridiculous. Like, I like Jim Cornette for some things that he says, but then I hear him talk about Kenny Omega, and I'm like, well, that's just ridiculous, man. Like, he doesn't make good points. Like, he makes good points about other things, but about Kenny Omega, it's just like, well, you obviously have some sort of personal thing where you don't like him because he's very good. For anybody not to see how good Kenny Omega is, it's like, well, what are you watching? You see the way he moves around? You see the athleticism? It's ridiculous. See anybody else getting dropped on their head like that and surviving? Come on. The guy's ridiculously tough, ridiculously athletic, very talented, thinks a lot about the art of professional wrestling, puts a lot of effort into his craft. He's one of the top 2 or 3 wrestlers in the world today. He may be number 1. For anybody who's anywhere near the business of professional wrestling today, to think Kenny Omega is anything less than one of the greatest in the world is just a little short-sighted, I think. I think it's, I think Cornette has certain personal feelings that he lets cloud his judgment. Look, maybe Kenny wouldn't fuck Cornette's wife, and that's why Cornette hates him. I don't know. I guess if you fuck Cornette's wife, he likes you more, Especially if you let him watch.
No, I think it's more Kenny wrestling a blow-up doll and Kenny wrestling a little kid. I think that's what Cornette can never forgive.
Yeah, well, he doesn't understand certain aspects of professional wrestling, and that's okay. He's a very old man, and he's confused. It's okay to be an old cuck, which is what he is. He's an old man who likes to be cuckolded. And I don't really need to listen to the opinion of an old Kentucky cuck for professional wrestling, or for anything, for that matter, right? If you are an old man from Kentucky who enjoys watching your wife get plowed by other dudes, I don't want to listen to your opinions about anything, because I think you come with a point of view that is so far different than mine that we really just can't agree. I mean, we can't agree on the fundamental point that no one should fuck your wife but you. That's my main point. Nobody's fucking my wife but me. Fucking Jim Cornette. What the hell's the matter with him? Anyways. I know who doesn't like Kenny Omega? Fuck's the matter with him? 2 things. Ridiculous. He likes pro wrestling a lot, though, Jim Cornette. I like pro wrestling a lot, so I guess we agree on that. Having a lot of trouble with this belt. It's like falling off of me. It's a child's belt. That's why. Yeah! Playing with toys, baby.
Get a bigger one next time.
Yeah. I'm a grown man. I'm a father. This is what we do. We play with toys. All right? This is why.
I'm married, though. You said you're married.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know what? I mean, come on. Basically,
So, Dynamite, how was that? Like,
fuck you, John.
Overall, good show?
Oh, Johnny North. What the fuck is the matter with you? Yeah, Dynamite overall I thought was bad this week. I didn't think it was a very good episode of Dynamite, mostly because of the audio issues and the lack of good wrestling. Like Miro and Trent, I thought did a really good job. I liked seeing Miro there against Trent, a guy who he obviously knows. I thought that was good stuff there. Match was good. Miro won. Fine. Young Bucks and Private Party, I don't know. The Private Party, they're super choreographed, and when they wrestle the Young Bucks, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. Taz and Brian Cage and Ricky Starks doing their promo there. Taz talking about waiting outside Tony Khan's office for 3 hours. That was all right. I like Taz's promo. I thought Taz's in-ring promo was good because he was in the ring, so the sound was good, and you can actually hear what he was saying. And he tells Cody Rhodes that they're going to make their presence felt at Full Gear. What does that mean? Because they're not booked, right? Brian Cage and Ricky Starks are not booked, but they're going to get involved. They're going to get involved in Cody's match? So you said this is a must-win for Darby. Now, before we move on, Hangman and Kenny, I think Kenny's going to win. Do you agree?
Yeah, I already agreed.
Okay. Cody and Darby, you say it's must-win for Darby. Why?
Well, this is what, match 3 now with Cody? And like he's come close so many times, but always seems to lose somehow. So like if he's ever really going to be like a big time star in AEW, now's the time. Because like if he loses again, like he's really at that mid-card level and that's it. He can't beat a main guy.
Can he, though? I think that's the question. Can he? Will he?
I think he should. I think it's time. Like, he's lost to Cody enough.
Yeah. Cody did just come back and take the TNT title back from Brody Lee, right? Where's Brody Lee?
Yeah, he kind of just disappeared, didn't he?
Yeah, what happened to him?
Weird, but that's what happened. He just disappeared.
Well, the Dark Order's still around. John Silver looks like the new leader of the Dark Order.
It's very possible. Well, one, COVID. You always think COVID when people disappear. Two,
but AEW doesn't hide it. AEW doesn't hide it like WWE, so maybe he's hurt, Brody.
Well, that was a very brutal match, that dog collar match, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually hurt.
Huh. Doesn't it seem like John Silver's now the de facto leader of Dark Order? Because every time they come out, he's like front and center, which I love.
Well, I think they just want to give him more screen time right now because I don't think a lot of people knew about him. So they're just trying to get him over. Plus, he's on the pay-per-view now, so they really need to establish him.
I love that little muscle pervert. Fantastic. Cody Rhodes, Billy Gunn, and Austin Gunn got the win over John Silver 10 and Colt Cabana. Austin Gunn got the pinfall on 10. Silver tried to hit Cody with a chair from behind after the match, but Orange Cassidy stopped him and dropped him. And it will be Orange versus Silver on pay-per-view. Is it wrong that I'm more interested in the Silver-Orange match than Cody and Darby? Because I am. It's got the Silver factor, baby.
Well, I like Cody's promo at the end, though.
Yeah.
Kind of got me more interested in that match.
It was a good promo talking about TNT, and, you know, Darby's like, well, TNT doesn't want to have me as their champion, but Cody's like, they would love to have you as the face of their belt. They would love to have you as a TNT champion. Cody's like, I had to sell Darby to all the other EVPs in the company. They were so unsure about Darby getting signed that Cody had to wrestle Darby himself to prove to everybody in AEW that Darby belonged in the company. So Cody is saying that, like, look, not only does TNT love you, but I love you. I'm the one who advocated to get you into this company. And Cody says that he left the Empire and went to war and won, and that pisses off a lot of people. Cody says Darby wants the ace belt. The problem is Darby isn't the ace. Cody is. I like the use of the word ace. I like that Cody is calling himself the ace of the company, and that the TNT title is the champion of the ace. That's a very New Japan thing. You are the ace of the deck. You are the number one. You are the most important member of the team. You are Hiroshi Tanahashi. Go Ace! Go Ace!
Well, let's remember Tanahashi did a promo for AEW not too long ago, so maybe it was a hint.
Tanahashi in AEW would be amazing. I would love to see Tana come back, get that rematch with Jericho. They talked about it when Jericho went to Japan to wrestle him and Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe we can dream, but we don't have to dream, baby. We got the Dream Son taking on Darby Allin for the TNT title, baby. I think Cody's going to retain. I don't think Darby's going to take it. I think Darby's good and all, but he's not ready. And there's something about him that I don't like. He's 27 years old. He's got a lot of time. He'll be a big star one day, but not now. I don't think he's ready to beat a guy like Cody. I think he loses again. I don't know. I saw Darby Allin on Being the Elite, and I think he rubbed me the wrong way. He seems to have no sense of humor. So, I mean, everybody's a comedian in wrestling, and yeah, I like that he's different, but I don't know. He seems a little too serious. He seems weird. He just seems like a weird guy, and like I'm not fully into it. I like him. I think he's like a fun wrestler and all, but he's a little small, and the gimmick is a little I don't know. I think Cody wins. I don't see Darby as a TNT champion. Like, yeah, really? He's going to get beat so quickly. He's so tiny. Miro take that title from him in a second. Like, Miro would snap that guy in half. He's not believable as a guy with a target on his back. He's believable as like a guy who will attack you, and if you're targeted, he will be the one targeting you. Like, I get that, and I see him as, a come from behind type of guy, an underdog type of guy, but like as a guy who is a champion that other guys are trying to take out, like how long does that last? He's so small. Like one match with Brian Cage, it's over, I don't buy it. I don't buy Darby Allin as a guy who can hold a title in AEW right now. Too small. Sorry.
Well, I understand that. It's just he's quite durable. He takes quite a beating, and to me, you want to showcase that as much as you possibly can, because he's one of these once-in-a-lifetime kind of guys that can take that kind of beating and keep going. A lot of guys get hurt pretty quickly, and he's gotten hurt, but he's bounced back very quickly as well. So,
yeah,
like I could see him get screwed out of this match because it looks like Team Taz, Dark Order, there could be a bunch of interference in this match, and I don't believe this is an anything goes match too. So that's not in his favor. He's better in those kind of anything goes matches. It doesn't look good for him, but I really think he has to win this match.
All right. Johnny thinks Darby wins. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes to retain the TNT title. Okay. FTR defending the AEW World Tag Team Championship against the Young Bucks. If the Bucks lose, they will never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. Tully Blanchard also barred from ringside. So this will be a 2-on-2 match, and the Bucks cannot challenge for the belts if they lose this match. They got to win, right?
They kind of, put themselves in a corner here, and it's like, well, yeah, you don't win, it's over. It's just, the problem is, apparently Matt Jackson is, like, hurt. But if he's hurt, how come he pretty much still did a match, and, like, it didn't see, like, besides him kind of selling,
he seemed
hurt. Like he could still wrestle.
He seemed hurt, though.
But for the most part, he did all his moves, didn't he? Like, it's just for a while he had to just take a break for a little bit. That's what it seemed.
Yeah, his knee looked pretty banged up. I couldn't quite tell how badly hurt he was, but the fact that they wrestled on Dynamite and they're going to wrestle again, I don't know. Matt Jackson's really good at selling injuries, but I've heard that it's more legit than not. So if they do lose, maybe Matt Jackson's taking time off. Maybe he needs knee surgery. Who knows? I've always said Nick Jackson could have a singles run. Like, he could be the next TNT champion easily. But I feel like the Bucks win here, because if they don't, they really never become AEW Tag Team Champions? Never? I mean, at some point they could reverse the stipulation and whatever, become the champions, but the stipulation here is that if they lose, they never challenge for the tag team titles again, which I don't think necessarily lasts forever, but should last for a while. I mean, Cody lost that match where he'd never challenged for the AEW World title, and he hasn't. So, I don't know. I feel like the Bucks are going to win and become tag team champions here. I think they should be. Look, it's their company. FTR comes in. Bucks beat them. First match against each other. Bucks win.
Well, that's it. Like, I think this is only the start of this war, and I don't think it ends here. So, because the Bucks kind of have to win this match, they're going to win this match. They win the first one, but I could see them probably losing the next two. like they could lose the titles like the next week on Dynamite, because if Matt
Yeah.
has to take time off, I mean, they'll do that right away, kind of thing. So, but because they have to win this match, they will, I think.
Yeah, I think that they will win, and their title reign will not be very long. No matter what happens, I don't think it's going to be a long run, but I think they're going to win this match here. They might even drop it right back to FTR soon. Okay. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara, the Elite Deletion. That'll be fun. Is that going to be at the Hardy compound?
It's supposed to be, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah. That should be good. I'm not a big fan of these cinematic matches, but when Matt Hardy's doing it at the Hardy compound, if Senor Benjamin is there, I'm down. I am down. Maybe a Brother Nero sighting or something, if they can do that. Probably not, but... You know, like, who's that in the background? Is that
Willow,
Brother Nero? Willow the Wisp? Can they do that?
Yeah, Willow.
Well, I don't know. WWE might be pissed if Jeff... What?
It could just be a guy in a Willow mask, no? Like, it doesn't have to be Jeff.
Yeah. Or it could be Jeff in a mask, and then they can't really prove that it's him.
Hey,
although
can't prove it, yeah.
yeah, if you can't prove it, I guess. I don't know. Probably not, but I think it'll be fun. Matt Hardy should probably win, though, right? It's his match.
Yeah, he should win. Like, stranger things have happened, but I expect him to win this match.
Yeah. Hikaru Shida taking on Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's World Title. Seen this before. Hasn't been great. Don't really care. Shida retains.
This one's the toughest match to predict right here, because Nyla with Vicky Guerrero, you think that would lead to something, no? And this is what it's supposed to lead to, the big title match, so it should pay off, right? Nia should win.
Nyla.
But this really... Nyla, well, like, whatever, Rose.
Nia Jax, Nyla Rose, whatever.
Yeah. They're not the same person, though. We'll be fair with that.
No.
But like, it just feels like this match came out of almost absolute nowhere. Just, well, she went up the rankings through Dark, and now she has a title match. And yeah, there's history, but again, this kind of came out of nowhere. So I don't see Shida. They kind of build her up, and then she's just going to lose like this out of nowhere. It's too soon.
AEW Women's Division sucks right now. Sucks.
It's getting better, though.
I mean, the NWA Women's Division is not bad. Serena Deeb is defending the NWA Women's Championship against Allison Kay, and that's on the pre-show. That should be very good. Serena will probably win. I'm just, like, pissed we don't see Abaddon more often on TV. She's the one I wanted to see. She's hurt, right? Yeah, that sucks. I mean, Alexa Bliss, not scary with contact lenses. Abaddon, scary. Legit scary. Shoot scary. All right, Chris Jericho versus MJF. If MJF wins, he joins the Inner Circle. MJF is going to win, right? He's going to join the Inner Circle.
Well, Jericho's going to lose 2 pay-per-views in a row?
Yeah, who cares? That's what he's doing now. He's just putting people over. He's basically a commentator. He's the Jerry Lawler of AEW at this point. Like, he's on commentary, but he'll wrestle every once in a while to put guys over. That's what Lawler was doing. You know, I mean, Lawler never won matches, but he still had them. He's the king. That's what Jericho is now. He's the new king.
Well, because it's MJF, I think, yeah, he's going to lose. And because this progresses the story, right? Because, like, if MJF loses, then it's over, right? There's nothing more to this. So this has to continue with an MJF win. However, again, this is not going to be clean. There's going to be a bunch of interference, I believe, in this match. Yeah,
a bunch of Inner Circle guys showing up, Wardlow, all sorts of stuff. I think MJF will cheat to beat Jericho. He'll win. And then they'll have the whole deal with, you know, Jericho and MJF trying to do a hostile takeover of the Inner Circle and all that stuff. But I do think Jericho will lose here to MJF. What else is on this thing? Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Johnny Hungy for a victory. I think they should put Silver over because Orange, like, whatever. Silver's more entertaining than Orange is. Orange is fun, like a novelty gimmick at first. When you first see Orange, it's like, oh, this is funny. But over time, Silver has way more long-term entertainment value than Orange Cassidy. So, Johnny Hungy, Johnny Silver, my man, the new leader of the Dark Order, the muscle freak, the muscle pervert, John Silver. I think that should be one of his nicknames. I think, what's his name? Chuck Taylor called him a muscle pervert on Being the Elite. I think that is a fantastic nickname. The muscle pervert, John Silver. Johnny Hungy.
Well, I think they're going with that nickname more so because there's a T-shirt of that.
Johnny Hungy.
But
yeah.
You might not be wrong here,
Woo!
Because they really seem to be pushing Silver quite a bit, and if you really want to push him, you got to give him a pay-per-view win. No, I'm still going with Orange Cassidy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he loses.
I think he should. It's Silver's time. Forget Orange. Forget that guy. It's John Silver time, baby. Muscle pervert. All right, and now what will be the last match on the card, the main event. Jon Moxley defending against Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match for the AEW World Title. I thought their promo was very good this week. I really did. I thought Eddie Kingston.
Part of the show.
Yeah, you think it was the best part of the show? Yeah, it might have been.
I think
very, very intense. Eddie Kingston and Moxley went nose to nose, which I thought was really funny because they talked so much about how they weren't allowed to touch during this promo, and then as soon as they get in the ring together, their faces are smushed together. That's touching, but whatever.
Well, I think they meant in a harming way.
Yeah, I get it. Not in so close you're going to kiss. I've never been that aggressive with a man where I've wanted to go nose to nose with him. It's kind of weird. It's a weird thing.
Are fine.
Yeah. Don't say that word, John. It's a racial slur. I just think, it's a strange thing, thing. I always think of the time when Anderson Silva went nose to nose with, I think, Chris Weidman and wound up kissing him. You ever see that?
No.
I think it was a weigh-in or a press conference deal. I think it was at the weigh-ins the day before the second Weidman fight, and Anderson went nose to nose with him, and they got so close that their lips touched. And I was like, yeah, that's a weird thing to do to another man, get that close. Just ask Lars Sullivan about that. Anyways, so Eddie Kingston says he's going to bring the title home to his mother, and he's going to tell her, this is the reason, this belt, mama, this is the reason you don't have a grandson or a grandchild. This is the reason that you don't have a daughter-in-law. This is the reason that I'm a loser and no one will love me because I've tried to win a wrestling title that's fake, and now I'm a champion, mama. And she's going to be like, that's really nice, Eddie, but I would much rather a grandchild than this fake wrestling belt that a promoter decided that you won. It's fake, Eddie. It's fake. And children are real. But, hey, he's 38 years old. He's 38 years old. He's a confirmed bachelor. He wears bootcut jeans and throwback jerseys. He dresses like he's in 1998. He's 38 years old, and he's still acting like this. Not surprised. And now he's going to wrestle Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title, which is, good for him, but he's definitely not going to win. Moxley says, he was happy for Eddie when he signed a contract, and he promised Eddie's mother that he would look out for him. Is Eddie like a child? And Moxley says Eddie made a promise to his mother that he was not going to be able to keep because you're not going to win the title, and you're going to find out, Eddie Kingston, that you are not the man that you thought you were, and you will quit. During Moxley's promo, Eddie Kingston just got so mad he just walked off in a rage. It was good stuff. Good stuff from Moxley, good stuff from Eddie Kingston. Felt real, felt personal. Don't really care about the match. Hopefully it's violent, it's bloody, it's everything that it should be. Have not loved Jon Moxley's title run. I think he will retain. He will beat Eddie Kingston. He'll make Eddie quit somehow. Let me ask you something.
Well,
if you
he
choke
beat him already by submission.
Yeah, he beat him by submission already. He choked him unconscious, right, with the bulldog choke. And Eddie's like, well, you never beat me because you choked me out, but I never tapped out. If you choke a man unconscious during an I Quit match, do you not win?
Well, this goes back to the Roman Reigns match you didn't like too much, right? Because didn't that happen with Jey Uso? He didn't say I quit. The ref was going to call the match, but Roman threw the referee out, right? So that stopped that from happening until we got the I quit somehow.
Yeah.
So here we go again.
I think it's dumb. Like, if this were real, right, and your opponent is unconscious, the referee has to stop the fight.
Right.
You could kill a man. You could kill the man. You know? Like, it doesn't really make sense. So what if Eddie Kingston refuses to quit? What happens? Does Moxley have to kill him?
Happen.
Like in MMA, sometimes guys don't tap. So what happens? Their arms break, they get choked unconscious, and the fight ends because the referee's like, oh, this guy's getting really fucked up. I better stop it before he dies. But in this instance, it's like, well, if Eddie Kingston dies, he dies. Anyways, he's not going to win.
No. That's the story they want to tell, and it's going to be an extreme brawl, right? So
hopefully
people get their money's worth for that. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen because it's like, pretty sure I quit match, they can do whatever they want, so. And you know them, they just do a bunch of hardcore brawl in their matches, so people will be happy with it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of like, oh, I'm going to grab you and I'm going to pull you and I'm going to punch you, and it's going to be like not a lot of wrestling, a lot of brawling around the ring, and it's just not going to be that great. I'm not looking forward to this match. I don't think that it will steal the show. I don't think it will be in the top 2 or 3 of matches on this whole card. Like, this is the world title match. This is probably the main event, but I'm looking at this card, and it's one of my least anticipated matches. I'm more interested in Hangman and Kenny, Cody and Darby, FTR and the Bucks, Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho and MJF, Orange Cassidy and John Silver. Those 6 matches are beating the Moxley-Eddie Kingston match on my interest levels right now. So that's 7th. And then you got the Sheeta match and the Deeb and Allison Kay pre-show match. That's where Moxley's match is interest-wise for me. It's at the bottom with Sheeta and Nyla Rose. Says a lot.
Oh. Wow. I really thought that promo sold the match much better than all the other matches were sold this week.
No, because I've seen them wrestle before, and I know what it is.
I think an Extreme Brawl will actually be a lot of fun.
All right.
After everything we see, like I think it's going to be actually refreshing to watch.
I hope so, John. I hope you are right. I like Vicky Guerrero saying bullshit on TV this week. That was good. And Pac plays a video. He's coming back, and he's pissed. When's Pac coming back?
Well, that's kind of complicated, right? Because he lives in the UK.
And they're locking down again, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe they're locking down again.
Uh-oh.
And, like, is he going to... He can't travel back and forth like that because that's not really going to work because then he has to quarantine, right?
What's he doing?
So...
What's he doing? Like, really? He's got enough money in the bank. He wrestled for the WWE. What are you doing in England right now? Go to Florida.
Well,
rent a condo. Wife. He does?
Yeah.
Does he have kids?
I don't know if he's working on it, but possibly.
Well, then go to Florida. What the hell, man? If your kids aren't in school, you have a wife, move everybody to Florida for a few months so you could wrestle in AEW. What are you doing right now in England, Pac? Just sitting around. Come on, man.
He already moved from the States back to the UK, so probably doesn't want to move back.
Like a semi-permanent move, like just a temporary deal so you could wrestle for AEW. I don't know. It seems like the move to do, like stay in Florida for the next few months so you could wrestle, but I guess not.
Is that safe though for your family? I mean, I question that.
Is it safe to not work?
Well, he's still getting paid, I imagine. So,
I mean, look,
yeah.
Pac could work, could make money, could be corona tested for AEW. Is it safer than staying at home and doing nothing? No. But if you stay at home and do nothing for the rest of your life, you're not going to get anything accomplished. So, look, obviously the safest thing to do in this world, coronavirus or not, is to sit at home and, sit in a bubble so nothing hurts you. But we're living in a real world here, and sometimes you got to step out of your doors and make something happen. Go make some money.
Well, I think what helps is that AEW is becoming more strict on the other wrestlers wrestling elsewhere, because I think that was a huge problem.
Yeah, good.
And thankfully they're cutting down on that, and maybe that's going to help, because obviously Pac's coming back eventually, right? He didn't do that promo for nothing. So hopefully it's a safer environment for him, and they can work something out with the whole traveling arrangement.
Hopefully, because I would love to see him back in professional wrestling. The guy is a super talent, and I think AEW would be very lucky to have him back. I want to give a shout-out to Patrick C. Hamilton and Rob Cluse for hitting us up on the Super Chat tonight. We appreciate you big time. Shout-out to everybody watching. Thank you very much for your support. Thanks for supporting the Ringside Report Network and Wrestling Uncensored. Thanks to my dad, who I see right now. Hi, I see you. Wave to me. Wave to me, old man. Thank you. I see my dad on the production staff. He's working on stuff. He's been distracting me while I'm doing a show, but that's okay. He's doing stuff. I know you hear me.
That's okay.
And I see you. I see you hearing me. I love you. You fucker. All right. That's the show. That's the show. I love him. I love my dad. Who doesn't love their dad? I mean, maybe Donald Trump Jr., but, other than that, right? Or his dad doesn't love him. His dad does not love him. Love. Did you see, Donald Trump Jr. went for a hug, and his dad's like, yeah, good job. He, patted him on the back, took the microphone out of his hand, and he's like, get the fuck off the stage. Fantastic. He does not love his son. I'll tell you, Donald Trump does not love his son. He loves his daughter, but I would not want that kind of love. You know what I mean? Weird guy. And as far as I'm seeing, it seems like he won't be president for that much longer. Maybe a couple more months, and then they're going to get rid of him. But apparently, Biden is on track to win 300 electoral college votes, which is way over what he needs to win. It seems like it's pretty much done, but no one is officially saying it's done. So at some point, it'll probably be done. But it looks like Biden's going to win. Which, election night, you could have taken Joe Biden as a plus 700 or something. You could have cashed in big time on that bet. Biden started the day on election night as a slight favorite and then ended the night as a huge underdog. I was like, there might be some value in putting some money on Biden. Should have done it, baby. Could have cashed in big time. Oh, well. That's how I look at it. I don't really give a shit about who wins. I'm just trying to make money off the whole thing,
Well, aren't they going to be locked up in lawsuits now for the next couple of months as well?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I don't really care. We're going to be back for Full Gear tomorrow night. You're at Full Gear towards the end of the show around, I don't know. When's Full Gear going to be over? 11? John?
I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't want to go on too late. So we'll be on around 10:30-ish, I'd say. Probably towards the main event. When the main event starts, we'll be on. We'll watch the main event with you, and then we'll do a post show, right? That's the plan, John. We'll be back tomorrow night. Easy peasy.
Play it by whatever announcement you get that pops up on hopefully YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Well, that's why you need to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hey, there you go. Thank you. Subscribe. Yes. And be here with us tomorrow night. Click the bell so you get notifications. So you get the notification when we are on tomorrow night. Should be around 10:30. Follow me on Twitter at Dave Simon MMA. On Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. Follow Johnny at North Genesis. On Twitter at Genesis Johnny North. On the gram. Until then, we will see you at Full Gear. This has been Wrestling Uncensored.